Oh my gosh. Because. Hola. Where to go live? Well, I'm trying to go live on this thing. Instagram just really dislikes me. That's why I'm moving my talents over here, but it's just so silly that it gets so angry at me. Okay. ¿Qué onda? 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 I hope you guys can hear me well. I'm not mic'd up on my YouTube, so my YouTube stream might have shittier audio than my Instagram. Sorry for the people watching on YouTube, but it's all because I came late to the game. So I am not mic'd up properly on YouTube, so YouTube might have a way shittier sound than Instagram. And then on Instagram, I have a filter because my lighting sucks if it's on my fucking phone. So anyway, easy to say that I was not prepared for today. I should have been. Okay, honestly, I know that this Thursday we were going to do this live, but so many things are going on right now and I've been working like a maniac and I'll share some things with you guys here and you guys are going to be the first ones to hear about it. So I'm super excited. But because of it, I came a little late. I need to set up my YouTube. I need to set all this up so it's like ready to go. But fuck, am I excited? It's funny too that I'm doing this live because I didn't even think about it. Today's August 13th. And if you guys don't know what August 13th is, it is the fall of Tenochtitlan. So if you guys are into history, you guys will know that on this date, 1521, the Aztec or Mexica Empire actually fell to the Spanish. But there's a lot there that people don't think about. And one of the things that always bothered me is that a lot of people think that that's Mexican history, right? Okay, we know the Spanish came, the Mexica fell, or as people know them, the Aztecs fell, and that was it. And it's like, no, dude, by the time that they came, there was already 3 millennia of history in Mexico. 3 millennia. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane? Like the Olmecas had already fallen thousands of years ago. The Mayas had already fallen, well, had already started their highest point of classical period 600 years before the Spanish came here or came here, got there. So it's just crazy because decolonization isn't just an event. It just doesn't happen and that's it. Like we're thinking about 3 millennia had already happened in Mexico. But what it does do is that it disrupts everything because after that, obviously, generations of disease, food systems completely destroyed. So yeah, y'all know the story. But people need to think also about the beginning. And also something that always fascinated me was what was happening in Spain because a lot was going on in Spain, especially between Muslims and Christians or Catholics, Muslims and Catholics, and whole mess of things were going on. So it's always good to know both sides. Hi, Samim. Hi, guys. Hi, Simply Dad. What's up, everybody? If you guys know that you guys can ask me questions. You guys can join the conversation. This is awesome. We're going to be here for about an hour. So let's fucking kick it. This is just the Echando coto. So let me tell you guys kind of what's been going on and why I've been so MIA this week and what is happening in my life right now and why I am working like a maniac. Well, as you guys know, I've been doing this for years as far as content creation with history and culture and everything. And I had my own job. I had my own business, my own career as a nutritionist and a an overall health coach because I'm a behavior change specialist. I'm a sports performance specialist. I work with athletes for many years. So if you guys don't know, I actually left my business, but there's a reason why. And the reason was because I really was only giving my knowledge to primarily wealthy people because those were the people that could afford it. Okay, guys. So I worked at a diagnostic in a diagnostic business. So basically, someone would come and get a DEXA scan, metabolism testing, VO2 testing. We did it all, and nutritional coaching. So the thing is, my nutritional consultations were $350 an hour, which let's be real, dude, not a lot of people can fucking afford that. Now, I obviously hold my knowledge. It's important. I've spent so many years reading and educating myself that it is valuable. But still, $350, come the fuck on. You know what I mean? So what I wanted to do is help my community. So In this last 2 years, what I've been doing is writing books. I wrote A Modern Guide to Mexica Philosophy, which is a philosophy book. And it's a very, very much an introduction into Mexica philosophy. So you could also try to apply it to your daily life. And the second book, which comes out on September 21st, available for pre order already, though, Decolonize Your Diet. Now, I can't even describe how extremely proud I am of that book because Decolonize Your Diet, I know it's like, oh, it's so political. No, 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 no. It is, it breaks down everything. I'm talking about from nutrition, what macronutrients are, what micronutrients are. It breaks down anatomy. It breaks down medical literacy. So you can learn how to read your CBCs and read your blood work and be able to ask, medical practitioners good questions and questions that you actually need answered. There's a reel coming up about H. pylori because gastric cancers are so high in Latino populations. So anyway, it talks about behavior change. It talks about colonization. It talks about food systems. I mean, it is deep. It is a deep book, and it is basically the culmination of my career and everything that I have learned along the way and that have helped my clients, but it's for Mexicans and Latinos. Why? Because it's written within our culture. So, with that said, someone actually reached out to me, and she is an amazing person. If you guys look her up, her name is Erica Lucas. She is the CEO of Stitch Crew. And she told me, "What are you doing, Laura? Like, you should absolutely be making a living doing this." Now, as you guys know, most people know me as the commie, the fucking socialist. I wanted to provide all of this information for people. I wasn't looking to get rich on Instagram or fucking TikTok or anything. None of these fucking platforms are paying me. But I'm like, you know what? It's true. This is what I want to do the rest of my life. It's not about, oh, I want to be an influencer. No, I want to teach my community what they need to know, but from a scope of culture and history. So there's no reason why healthcare should not have culture and history in it. Okay, especially for us Latinos and Hispanics and whatever you want to call us, Latina, whatever. There are different organizations out there like Latino Health Access in Santana that do a fantastic job of medicine and culture, but none have mixed everything, really mixed everything. I'm not talking about just like translating things or saying like, oh, this is why you should eat this in a cultural perspective. No, I'm talking epigenetics, nutrigenomics. I'm talking about history and culture involved in healthcare fully, right? Full education, reconnecting people with their past, reconnecting people with their ancestral foods, reconnecting people with their ancestors, and at the same time, reconnecting them to our philosophies and our food systems, right? So, we are on the way of creating a nonprofit. So with Folklore, we'll become a nonprofit organization hopefully very soon. We're in the fundraising stage. We're in the proof of concept stage. As you guys know, this is no easy work. I've been working my ass off, but I am very excited because this will be able to reach more people. And not only that, if you're an educator, if you're on health in healthcare, you'll be able to get more tools that are culturally diverse, that are historically adapted for our people. Now, if you're thinking, why the hell do we even need that? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say someone goes into a dietitian's office at Kaiser Permanente who is Mexican, let's say from Chiapas, and says, you know what, I'm dealing with insulin resistance or I'm dealing with diabetes. Most of the time, and I'm talking easy number out there, 98% of the time, that dietitian is going to offer something within my plate or now my pyramid US advice for nutrition, which is going to be, of course, your protein, your dairy, your this, your that. So that person might tell them like, look, let's go ahead and eat some white rice and have, limit carbohydrates, very small amount of white rice, have your protein, have vegetables like broccoli and all these things, and your cup of milk basically. That doesn't fit us epigenetically or in our nutrigenomics or in our genetics, period, right? It would be much healthier for that dietitian to tell the person with insulin resistance, first of all, let's figure everything out. Let's get blood work. Let's do it all. Let's get a resting metabolic rate test. Let's get a DEXA to see where your body is. And let's set up a diet according to, oh my gosh. Ah, I'm on YouTube, guys. This is why I'm on YouTube, because Instagram keeps cutting me out. Okay. I'm going to wait for just a little bit for the Instagram people. You know what? I should have put, I'm so dumb. I should have put the link in here. Oh, come on. This is why we need to go to my YouTube. Go to my YouTube. Go to YouTube. Tube. Hey, I'm back. I'm back. This is why I'm on YouTube. This is exactly why my live right now is on you. And yes, yes, El Machetero says it's breaking. Food Guide Pyramid set it off. Honestly, it did. This is why I'm on YouTube. Please go to my YouTube. Watch me on YouTube because Instagram will cut me off when I talk about all of these things. So you guys can subscribe. My YouTube is on my bio. I also left it in my stories. Go subscribe and you guys should see me live and then go watch there. Okay. Very important information I'm going to be giving you guys. So exactly why we set this scenario with this lady, right? So once we figure out this lady maybe should be eating more corn, more nixtamalizado, right? Nixtamalized corn and proteins. And the point is that the dietitian's not going to say, yeah, get some black beans, get some calabacitas, flor de calabaza, some quelites. No, they're not going to because they're not culturally educated, right? And that's not on them, that's on the system. But that's exactly why we need this. We need to explain why. Tell me this one. Let me give you this one. There's a reel that's coming out this week about it. Tell me why highest rates of stomach cancer in Latino populations, okay? Most of them due to H. pylori, a bacteria that can be transmitted from mother to child or food or water that is contaminated. Large portions of Latin America and Mexico have it. Here, it is 3 times higher in Latino populations in the United States than white Americans. Okay. The only thing the physicians or your healthcare needs to do is look at your ethnicity, say, oh, you're Mexican, you're Latino. Oh, we should check for H. pylori, right? Which is very easy. They either do a breath test or a stool sample or blood work because the best part is that it's treatable. They can treat it with antibiotics and it's gone. But guess what doesn't happen? They don't do that. They don't do that. So you need to know about H. pylori. You need to go to your doctor and you need to let them know, hey, I want to get tested by H. pylori because I'm Mexican. And then they go, okay, the literacy is there. All of the studies are there, but they're still not doing that. Why? Because we're not a priority. We'll never be a priority. And I'm not saying that we should be the priority in healthcare. I'm saying all races and all ethnicities should be priorities in healthcare, right? Not just the white population. But unfortunately, that's what everything is based on, the white population. So imagine this. And I'm going to tell you guys a personal story. My grandmother passed away from stomach cancer in 2020. Her mother had stomach cancer. We have cancer in the family. Okay. My grandma tested positive for H. pylori. I immediately went to Kaiser Permanente, which was back then when I was in California. And I said, hey, I'm Mexican and I would like to get tested with H. pylori. And they did it. They did a stool sample and they said it came back negative. Great. I knew about it. I was researched about it. I was in healthcare. If you're not in healthcare, if you no one around you is in healthcare, how are you supposed to know this? This is insane. So again, to me, when I'm talking about this nonprofit that I want to start, when I'm talking about these books that I'm writing, it's to give you that information. How many times have I had clients come to me and I'll be honest, a lot of my white clients know exactly how to read their CBCs. And if they don't, they might go home, they might punch them into Chat GPT and have them tell them. But is our abuelita going to do that? Is our tia going to do that? No way, because we're not raised for that. Most of us were not even raised to go to the hospital, the doctor, unless we're fucking dying or we're really sick. And then what happens? We go to the doctor. What you got? You're limited on time, right? Because they're not going to explain everything. They give you your medicine, you're gone, right? Or they give you your blood work and you open it in your portal and you see green and you're like, I guess I'm fine. But you don't know how to read your bilirubin. You don't know how to read your WBCs, right? And that's not your fault. That's not our fault. There is no medical literacy. We're not taught this. We're not taught this in school. We're not taught this with our families because our families avoided going to the doctor. Also, because most of us were not insured, whether you were if you were in the United States growing up, and it was expensive. I mean, one of the reasons why like I wanted to skateboard and my family were like, all right, relax, is because we don't want you to break a fucking bone, you know? So like it's a real fucking problem. And Machetero says we have to prioritize ourselves just to stay alive due to the practices here in the Americas. Absolutely, guys. In the United States, it is of essence to do that, but it's not easy, especially because not only do we have to know this information, we have to get through cognitive distortions. Okay, here's one. And I know for sure your families have said this to you before. You tell your tía, oye, cuídate, whatever, eat better. ¿Y qué te van a decir? Ay, de algo me voy a morir. I'm going to die of something anyway. I'm going to die of something. We are still surviving. We should be thriving now. And we are still surviving because we still have a survival mentality. Until that survival mentality changes, we are not going to thrive as a community. We're not going to thrive as Latinos. We are not going to thrive as Mexicans in the United States. We're not going to thrive. Okay. So that survival mentality is also part of your body, survival bodies. One of the chapters in Decolonize Your Diet, my book, talks about survival bodies. And it's because the way your fat is distributed, your amount of cortisol, how high it is, your insulin resistance is epigenetic. It means that it comes from generations of trauma, starvation, poverty, and all. So this is still affecting us today, hence the name Decolonize Your Diet, because people think colonization happened and that's it. It was a fucking event, which is hilarious that we're talking about it today, August 13th, because on August 13th in 1521, the Mexica Empire fell. And people believe that that's it. That's what happened. That was a day. What happens for generations after that? Still till our generation. Look at us. We're still surviving. And that's not fair. And that's also not on us because no one is teaching us or helping us get out of this mentality. And that's what I hope to be here for. And honestly, that's what I think my entire role in my life is for. And that's why I'm very thankful that I lived in both countries and I was able to experience both cultures and both systems because they're so different. And a lot of people that meet me, by the way, if you guys, it's your first time coming on here, I am not Chicana. I completely respect the Chicano culture and I'm still learning about it because I find it so fascinating. And I said this, I was in a meeting for Books for Crooks. Bella, you guys look up Books for Crooks and look up Bella. That girl is doing God's work. So they actually chose my book to read and we had a whole meeting about it. And I said this to them, and I'll say to any out there, any Chicanos out there, any no sabo kids, I hate to say that term, but any of you guys, if Mexico ever becomes a world leader, it's going to be thanks to you guys. If we save Mexico, it's because of Mexican Americans, because the love that a Mexican American has for Mexico is beyond anything. Sometimes it's based on nostalgia. Sometimes they've never even gone, but the love and pride they have is amazing. Now, I myself was born in Mexico. I came to the United States for some time when I was little, basically my elementary school. Basically, from first grade to sixth grade, I was in the United States. And then I went back to Mexico and I did all of my junior high, mi prepa, my high school. And then I didn't come back until I was an adult. So it's very interesting the way I was able to do both things. And a lot of people tell me, well, do you speak Spanish? Claro que hablo español. Y hablo español al 100% güey, porque ese fue mi primer idioma. That was my first language. So lo hablo súper bien. The only reason is that my content is in English is because I want to talk to Mexican Americans, to people that are not in Mexico. Of course, I talk to Mexicanos as well. My TikTok is actually all completely in Spanish, and it's primarily to all my homies and my followers in Mexico. And of course, I care a lot about Mexico. There's a lot of different things I want to be working with Mexico, and I'm trying to work with Mexico. But that's answering the question of why my stuff is in English. That's primarily why. And because my mission is to reconnect people with their roots, with their ancestral foodways, with everything. Because once we reconnect, then we know where we're going. Because a lot of the times people forget that we had built philosophies and amazing things, and the only way we've been brought up to think is the European way, right? Which there's nothing wrong. Hey, I love philosophy, and I'm not saying Mexica philosophy is better than any other. I mean, and there's Totonaca, Maya, Huaxarica. There's so many different philosophies of Mesoamerica. But what I'm saying is that we deserve to be up there. We deserve to be up there with Stoicism and what Plato and Socrates and everyone and Aristotle and everyone shared, right? And it's different. So for instance, a lot of those European philosophies are about finding yourself. Our philosophy, most philosophies, both Maya, Mexica, are based on forming yourself. And I think that's two different ways of seeing it, right? Our philosophies, like Tlatic is based on understanding that the world is never going to hold still. It's always going to be unstable. And we need to learn to walk in that instability instead of constantly trying to find stability, find happiness, find yourself, right? That's just not what our ancestors thought. And because of that, we come from them, right? So reconnection is very important also for mental health. Let me answer a couple of things that people have been saying. El Machitero says we're definitely still dealing with collateral consequences of disconnected diet. Yes, disconnected diet, disconnected history, 100%. DJ Blackouts, I like that, says, as a Mexican American, your content is reaching the right people. Ah, thanks, man. I'm glad. Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome. Me da gusto because you guys know I have a husband. I don't know why that's such a weird way to say it. I'm married. My husband was born in the United States. He's Mexican American. His family is from Jalisco. The problem is my husband didn't learn English, Spanish, and not because he came in a bad time. He was born in 96. It was because his mom wanted to practice English. So she would practice with him and therefore didn't really learn a lot of Spanish. Now, he could speak it well and he can completely understand it, and he can read it pretty well as well. But he's still considered maybe to some a no sabo kid, right? And it's so unfortunate, because he really is connected with his roots and everything else. And that's one of the biggest passions because obviously we have children together. And my children were born in the States, although I will be letting them know that they were born on native land during the US occupation. But because of me and my family that are, Mexican, and we go there a lot, they're born also with this kind of both worlds kind of interpretation, and they are bilingual already. They speak and understand English and Spanish, and I'm already going into Nahuatl as well. I think languages. Here's the deal: in languages, I also know French. I also know Latin. I also know Greek. But that's just because I have interest in language, and that's something I want to tell you guys as Mexican Americans. We should always be proud about our culture, but that doesn't mean putting other cultures down. And that doesn't mean that everything that comes from Europe is horrible, because that is insane, because we would form the same mentality as the oppressors. You understand? So it's okay to learn after you've learned the languages you want, Spanish, English, or Nahuatl, or any native language, to learn anything you want. You want to learn Russian? You fucking learn Russian. You want to learn French? Why? Because the more you know, the better. The more you know, the better. Why wouldn't you study everything else? It's like me saying, "Oh, I'm so mad that they colonized us that I didn't learn any philosophy from Europe." No, pendejo. We still have to know. You gotta know. You gotta know as much as you can about everything, right? Don't just let that pride enter this weird place. And I remember when I came back from. Oh, let me answer this question first, or comment. Go to my YouTube. Sorry, go to my YouTube, guys. If you're losing me on Instagram, go to my YouTube. Go to my bio. I'm live on YouTube. Please go, because Instagram will shut me down. So when you say legacies of Vedic and Egyptian teachings, absolutely. And a lot of it you would be considered stolen, because a lot that's just here's the deal. It is wrong. Okay. It is wrong to steal. It is wrong to colonize. It is wrong. But it is also part of human history and human biology to have wars and to fight for things. And there's always good and bad. Okay. But that shouldn't take us away from learning this. And not only European, like you said, Egyptian, Middle Eastern, anything that you want to learn. My point is learn it. Osi Medellin says, my apologies, having connection issues. Yes, I want to learn to speak Chilango. Uy, sastres. Pues ahí sí está cabrón, but I can totally teach you. Guys, if you're going, please go to my YouTube. Hey, come to YouTube, because Instagram will keep pausing. So if you're listening to me right now, my bio, my link is on my bio to my YouTube. It should also be in my stories, and you should be able to come in and see me live, because Instagram will keep shutting this off. Okay. So, the story I was going to tell. So when I came back from Mexico as an adult, I was like, I had spent a long time in Mexico working with native populations in Veracruz, Tabasco, and Chiapas. That's a different story, but I'd spent a lot of time working with the people. So when I came back, I wanted to continue to do work on this side as well. So I went to Santa Ana, and in Santa Ana, they had El Centro Cultural in California, which is great. And in El Centro Cultural, I met the Mexica movement. And yes, I'm going to talk shit. I am going to talk shit. Okay. So I met the Mexica movement, and I was wearing some Frida Kahlo earrings. And if you guys don't know, I have Frida Kahlo tattooed and Che Guevara tattooed on my arm. So, and the first thing they told us is like, she's half European. Do you know that? And I'm like, well, yeah, no mames. I think we all know that way. Soy de Mexico, güey, claro que sí. And y el Che Guevara es argentino, right? And it just things that where I'm like, okay, so what are you saying? It was this extreme view of everything that's Mexica, Mexican is better than anybody else. And I was like, well, motherfucker, you're just fueling racism. Like, I understand disconnecting. I understand even being angry. Trust me, I was angry for many years, especially when you find out what United States has done to our countries and to Mexico, you will get fucking angry too. And for many years, maybe I would have been, I consider myself a racist, and I did not like white people. But that doesn't fucking solve anything. That just creates worst problems. That's having the wrong mindset. And it goes to something that I heard the other day, or I've been looking at on social media. People going, you don't owe people shit. You guys have heard that? You don't owe people anything. You've worked for it. You don't know people shit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. And that's a capitalistic bullshit mentality. And that's exactly what I talk about in the Modern Guide to Mexica Philosophy. Mutual connection and help and society is very important, bro. We do owe shit to people because that's how we survived for millennia as human beings because we relied on each other. Now, the fact that trillionaires and billionaires have all of the sources here, that's another fucking conversation. But we should absolutely be there for one another. And that doesn't mean only Latinos, bro. I'm sorry. If there's a little girl that's hurt and she's white, what, you're not going to help her? There's a little girl that's Spanish, you're not going to help her because her fucking ancestors conquered yours. No mames, güey. Ya, ya. Tampoco es pasarse de madres. Tampoco es pasarse a un nivel ya tan extremo, güey, de todo. And everything becomes so extreme nowadays. Everything has to be left or right, white or black. Y no mamen, güey. There's gris, hay un chingo de matices de colores. There's different colors, guys. That's insane. That is so bad for your health and spirituality to think in extremes. And it's a cognitive distortion, which will hold you back in everything that you do. Let me drink a little agua. Thank you guys that are coming to YouTube because you guys, if you guys are coming into Instagram, Instagram will tell me I have a poor connection. So that's why we have the YouTube going as well. Especially when I talk about narco insurgency or other things that Instagram doesn't want to hear. So anyway, it's not about extremes. And it's DJ Blackout says only Sith deals in absolutes. Exactly. Only Sith deals in absolutes. Yes, sir. And you guys can also communicate on my YouTube, by the way. So this is exactly the kind of information and the kind of things that I want to be teaching our people. Now, I do have the education to back it up. I have a bachelor's in science of human nutrition. I am a certified personal trainer. I'm a certified behavior change specialist and on and on. I can go fucking on. And I've been in healthcare for a while now. So I want to put it all together. But because I was raised in both cultures and because I did a lot of activism since I was 14 with indigenous populations in Mexico and then also in the United States, I have a lot to teach, cabrón. Y inclusive, cabrón, podemos hacer un pinche curso de chilango. ¿Ah? Para que aprendan caló. Se dice caló, by the way. The subcultural language is caló. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's when someone says like, ay, eres la neta del planeta, güey. Ay, Dios. Se me está parando el pedo, but like cuando dices, it'll come to me. It'll come to me. I'm thinking in English and I'm thinking too many things. But caló is very interesting. But anyway, guys, so this nonprofit organization that I'm in the fundraising stages. So we need to prove the concept. So here's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm so excited. First, I never wanted to do this because I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking annoying when people build courses, right? Like a course for this, $1,000 course for this. Fuck that. But I am going to build courses. But an easier way. I'm going to do it through a very much cheaper membership on School. I'm going to show you guys all that information. I'm not going to bore you with all of that, but I'm fucking excited because we're going to be able to go deep. Like if you guys are interested in history and philosophy, we're going to have that. But if you're interested in decolonizing your diet, understanding nutrition, understanding health, we got that fucking shit too. And it's needed, guys. It's needed in our communities so we can go from surviving to fucking thriving, bro. Okay. And there's other people out there like Erica Lucas, who I was talking about. Go follow her. Erica is Erika Lucas. She is the CEO of Stitch Crew. Now, what she does for Latinos is teaching them about generational wealth. And at first, I know this sounds very capitalistic, but the truth is, guys, that a lot of European or white families were raised with concepts of finances that we were not raised. So obviously, most of us do not come from generational wealth. Unless tienes ciertos apellidos en Mexico, way. If your like last name in Mexico is like Abud or some shit, then you might. Motherfucker, we don't. And it's funny because a lot of people think that I do. Like a lot of people see me and they're like, well, you're white, right? So you're white-sican, which people love to say, you're white from Mexico. You must have fucking wealth. Like, are you fucking kidding me? No mames. No tenemos ni madres, güey. Nail way. I just came out white because my mom married somewhat of a white guy, I guess, or a whiter Mexican. Hey, ¿qué pedo, Jose? Jose's here on YouTube. So no, I don't come from any generational wealth. Just so you guys know, my grandma didn't even make it to third grade. She had no shoes. My mom grew up with her other 6 siblings, wearing, used clothes and not in pretty much poverty. But she remembers beautiful things. Like my grandma would always bake to get money. And sometimes whatever was left of the dough, my grandma would put in like a little sardine can and bake it for them. And then they would have to split it in 7 for everybody. But my mom always remembers that so sweetly and so nice. And my grandma would, Olenna Tyrell. Do you guys know Game of Thrones? Olenna Tyrell? That's my grandma without the wealth. Holy shit. Strong, fascinating, very intelligent woman who, with absolutely nothing and obviously no husband, um, took care and raised 7 incredible people. My family members, obviously all our families are great. I'm not going to say my family's better than anybody else's, but they're kind, they're loving, they're opinionative, they go for shit, they're cool people, they're good people. And that's exactly the way I want to raise my children. My two kids are learning that it's not just about coming into this world and being happy, right? Because that's a very kind of like a white European thing. Like, all I want you to do is be happy. It's like, no, I want you to be good citizens and be good part of this society because you're not born into society. You're born from society and we have a relationship to each other. And that's why my children are very social. Yes. And they say hi to everybody. And people go like, oh my God, it's dangerous. Yes. But learning how to hone your people skills, to me and to my grandmother, was the most important thing you could do. And thank God that my grandma taught me how to do that because not only did it save my life multiple times, but it has gotten me to places that I never thought I would get to. And I always tell that to young kids going into college and stuff because for a long time I did nutrition for a certain high school that in Santa Ana that goes into pretty much professional football schools. So I would always tell them, guys, you can go in for the degree, you can go in and work really hard, but if your people skills are not honed, if you don't know how to talk to people, how to build relationships, how to help other people, then you're not going to get very far. But if you even don't have a degree and you know how to have people skills and hone it and do it for good, oh my gosh, I just realized how crooked my fucking glasses are. That's it. That's all you need. You see how I talk at like 100 miles per hour? That I talk about in my book as well, Decolonize Your Diet, because we don't know how to relax. We don't know how to get our parasympathetic nervous system on. We're always on like go, 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 go. We're never on rest and digest, which is so dangerous because as Latinos, our cortisol levels are already high. Insulin resistance can already be a genetic problem. And then we like go, go, go. And then we drink our cafe, güey. And then a la pinches mil por hora, cabrón, al mil por hora, which is just so bad. I love it because Instagram has paused so many times. And now I'm not even talking about weird political stuff. But by the way, I want to remind everyone that today is August 13th, which was the day that Tenochtitlan fell when the Spanish came and conquered us. But that doesn't mean the event just happened and it went away. It still has effects on your daily life till this day, which is crazy. And people go like, "You're a fucking idiot. That's not true." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is, motherfucker." Me estoy comiendo también, if you guys, un panque que hizo mi mamá. Es un panque de nuez, puta madre, güey. It's like the recipe from my grandmother. And I love that because my mom and my grandmother were big bakers. I love to cook. I'm not a huge baker because that's a whole nother science, dude. That's fucking hard. Baking is hard. But I'm getting into it more. I've been baking more. I haven't baked like Mexican things yet, but I've been making like brownies and bullshit like that. But I made some peanut butter brownies. Oh my God, that my husband found scrolling to Instagram, and we found a fucking travel wife that made them, and también buenos, güey. But I also like to make gelatinas. So it's such a classic Mexican thing. Like I made gelatina de chocolate abuelita. And I know people came at me like, don't use chocolate abuelita, use chocolate ibero. But wait, I'm in a mountain. All I had available was chocolate abuelita. But I also made una gelatina de mazapán. Su puta madre, so good. So fucking good. But anyway, I'm getting into baking. But my mom can bake. My God. She started making sourdough too. Oh, and you know what we learned? Sourdough for all them trad wives out there. We have in Mexico a type of sourdough, and it's called birote. If you guys are from Guadalajara or Jalisco, Zacatecas, it's a type of bolillo, but it's made from that mother, like because it's a culture basically that creates sourdough. And yeah, we learned that birote, and we didn't know that. So it's so crazy. Another thing that we learned is like, when you go to like Boudin, in Disneyland or in Northern California, it's Boudin or it's spelled Boudin, but it's pronounced Boudin. But it's where they make bread and the like clam chowder on a bread bowl, clam chowder on a bread bowl, clam chowder on a bread bowl. I used to sing that when I used to walk around Disneyland getting my clam chowder on a bread bowl. But most of that sourdough doesn't really have the mother, like how you make the sourdough. They actually add vinegar for the flavor of like the sourness. So it's not even real sourdough, which fucking sucks because sourdough is actually a little bit healthier. It changes the carbohydrates and it adds probiotics into the bread. So technically it's still like a little bit of a healthier white bread than just white bread. And they just add fucking vinegar. Can you believe that shit? I did not know that. Anyway. All right, guys, we're getting to the end of this live. And I just want to say thank you because everyone that was just talking and going into YouTube and sharing your opinions. And we talked about so many things. But I want to say I'm really excited about the future. I'm really excited of the possibility of this nonprofit organization. We can take with folklore to the next level and to show you guys everything else that's coming, the colonizer diet, so many other things that are actually going to be useful and of value. Because if it's not valuable, I'm not going to create it. If it's not actually giving you guys value, what the fuck, you know? Pero también I will say one last thing. Spend money on your health. Spend money on yourself. Don't just spend the money on a fucking new TV and shoes y la chingada, way. Mete dinero para ti, cabrón. Para tu salud, papá. You have to be healthy. We have to go from surviving to thriving. And we're not going to do that if we don't invest in ourselves. You know what white people say? White people say health is wealth, and they're not fucking wrong. Nada más que nosotros, güey, nos llegan los taxes y decimos, a la verga, güey, quiero una nueva tele, or I'm going to pay $500 to YouTube for the NFL fucking pass. Don't get me started. And instead of putting it on our health. So put it on your health. One last thing I will say, my homie has her book out, Leslie Priscilla, all about Latino parenting. It's called Latinx Parenting. If you guys don't have follow her on Instagram, she launched Chancla. Fantastic book. I'm barely at chapter 4, but it's already super inspiring. I'm super proud of her. And guess what? We support each other. Support Latinos. Support your natives. Support Latinos. Support people making valuable content. Valuable content. Not just fucking dancing on TikTok or showing your tits, dude. Like valuable content is important. DJ Blackout says, gonna buy that skateboard to get active again. Let's go. Oh fuck. I can't tell you how much I love skateboarding. I don't care how white it is. Okay. I don't fucking care. I love skateboarding. Every time you're on that skateboard, it feels like you're fucking flying. And every time you land a trick, every time you fucking, I remember the first time I dropped in to a bowl. Oh my God, I nearly shit my pants. I was so scared. And it was the best feeling in the fucking world. I also surfed for a while when I was in Orange County. Also, I think surfing probably even better because instead of concrete, you have waves and water. And yes, go get that skateboard. Go get that skateboard. The first skateboard I had, I was 11 and it was blind. And I'm a big fan of skateboarding subculture. I'm a big fan of King of the Road. Oh my God. I'm a big fan of skateboarding culture. And the reason I was always a fan was because of the mental. I know some of them are crazy and are on drugs. I get it. But the mental fucking discipline to say, I'm going to do that. And I don't care if it takes 15 fucking tries and I break my shit, I'm going to land that fucking trick. And I always thought that was incredible. Another reason why I was such a fan of pro wrestling, because I'm like, motherfucker, you're telling me you're slamming your body 360 days a year and traveling in between? Get out of here. If you don't love that business, y'all don't know. All right, guys, I need to head out. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And I'm so excited for what's to come. Little by little, each week, I'm going to be teasing more things and showing you guys more things. And I hope that I'll get your support because you guys need to know. Y'all know me. I'm transparent as fuck. This is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help our community. I'm here to help our people so that we can go from surviving to thriving. All right. Papis y papás y chiquitos y chiquitas y bombones, ya me voy porque tengo que trabajar un poquito más. Sobres, los amo. I love you guys too.